Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim, and our guest today is Greg Carlson. So, Greg, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do.
What's happening, Dan? My name is Greg Carlson, and I'm really fired up on a Thunder Thursday. We're bringing the noise out here in Austin, Texas, baby. Let's go. Holy mackerel. You feel that? You feel the
Yes,
tingle?
sir. There you go.
Watch out. So check it out. I've got a real estate company called Elite Residential Group. I've been in business for 8 years, and my brokerage is Keller Williams Realty, which a lot of people know. We're in over 50 countries around the world.
Awesome. So I'm just curious about your background. Like, how did you kind of get into real estate? Like, what did you do before? What kind of inspired you to get into this field?
Yeah, man. So what happened? Oh, yeah. I was at a peak. We're going to talk about peaks and valleys, all right? I was at a peak when I was in the military because I was thinking to myself, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL, all right? And in my mind, Navy SEALs were the coolest things ever, because they're jumping out of airplanes, helicopters, taking down bad guys, whatever, right? And they're working out all the time. Then the carpet got pulled out from underneath me. And I was like, shoot, what do I do now? Because I had a hip injury, Dan, when I was in the military. So they dropped me from the program. I got out and went back home to go to school, right? I went to school simply because it wouldn't make sense for me to not go to school, because the GI Bill takes care of it. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go to school for something I think is going to be fun, which was broadcasting. Anyways, long story short, I get into it and I start reading books, bro. I never read a book in my entire academic career up until college, for real. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad while I was in college, and then boom, I was freaking hooked. I signed up for his course, and then I became addicted to reading, man. As much content as I could possibly consume over the next 10 years, I did. Now, the question is, what was I reading about? I'll tell you, dude, I was reading about mindset mastery, financial success, investments, and business. You dig? Yeah. So I'm reading about the different asset classes. This is how it all came to fruition. Robert Kiyosaki's like, real estate, businesses, or paper assets. For some reason, real estate really stuck with me, because I'm thinking to myself, I kind of know what a realtor does. They're talking with people all the time. They're hosting events all the time. They're networking. I like doing that. I can see myself doing it. And then when I go to the investment side of things, right, I can make sound investments. Boom, baby. So fast forward, get through college, moved to Austin, Texas from New York. And man, I'm there, and real estate just kept flashing itself in front of me. I swear, dude, it was like the weirdest thing ever. It kept being brought up in conversations. People were sending me books, whatever. Got my license, done. It was the best thing I ever did. Backtrack. It just felt right.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I love the fact that you got inspired by Robert Kiyosaki and Rich Dad Poor Dad, because for me, it's also like one of my favorite books. I love the concepts in there. It's so easy to understand, especially for somebody that just wants to get into real estate for the first time. So, yeah, I mean, that's awesome. And I guess when you were in New York, were you also doing real estate, or did that journey start for you here in Austin?
No. So right out of high school, I got a job at a factory, bro. Look, because my grades were trash. I'm serious. I had to go to summer school because I failed English not once, but twice, and had to take it a third time. English. I speak English. Yeah. So then I got a job to keep my parents happy, because I wasn't going to college. I was not. It wasn't for me. So as I was working at this factory, I'm thinking to myself, what can I do? Because this place is kind of drab, in my opinion. What can I do to get recognized for my hard work? And I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, the military. You know, if you do good and you work hard, you literally get ranks on your shoulder, or you get pins on your chest. I'm like, boom, done. Military. Let's go, baby. What am I going to do in the military? Something real cool. Navy SEAL. Let's go. I want to jump out of airplanes, take down bad guys. Boom. Let's go. So I went to the military. Then right after the military was college, then real estate. 1, 2.
That's awesome. And then I guess in terms of real estate, right? Because as you said, that you came to Austin, you saw the market booming. And in what year was this?
So I started real estate in 2017, April 2017. I just finished yesterday. Ooh, happy anniversary, 8 years.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thanks, bro.
So, I mean, obviously back then the market was quite different than today. I mean, it's booming much more. Even back then it was growing a lot. What have you kind of seen in terms of trends and changes from 2017 until now?
Okay, cool. 2017, right? If you listed a property, it would sell in 3 months. give or take. It was steady. It was slow, gradual increase in appreciation. It was normal. The birds were chirping. The butterflies were fluttering. It was amazing. And then COVID hit. Whoa, COVID. Dude, it was insanity. I listed a property at $900,000, Dan. Okay. The seller calls me the day before we're going to go on the market. It says, Greg, can we list it at $150,000? I'm thinking to myself, wait a second. There's no comparable sales out there. There's literally none that are even at 900. 900 is a stretch, man. This guy calls me. He goes, can we do 950? I'm thinking to myself, what? But I also knew, because you've got to be in it to win it. You've got to be plugged in. I also knew that the market was going haywire. I trusted my gut. I said, let's do it. 950. The market's going crazy. By all means, here we go. Dude, we sold that property for $1.1 million cash. What the beep? And then fast forward to now, the market today, dude, oh God, it's a dog. The market's a dog.
Yeah. I mean, I guess even then it's like things are changing, right? Because I feel like locally in Austin, like I live here on South Lamar, it's more expensive, but there are still people that you can get a decent deal if you're further out in like Georgetown or places like that. So in terms of like what you're focusing on, are you like just more focused on here in Austin, or do you even go out to like the suburbs? Like where do you kind of help people in terms of looking for their home?
Dude, okay. Just for some scope, I went on a listing consultation at the border of Texas and Louisiana.
Okay.
Months ago. Yeah. This guy had his land listed out there on waterfront. And I went and met with him to see if we could help him sell his property. I have a listing right now outside of San Antonio. It's a 27-acre ranch with an airplane hangar on it. Yeah, dude. I work the state. To an extent. Let me clarify, okay? If it's farm or ranch, I cover the entire state. If it's a single family residence, I typically stick to an hour and a half drive,
For sure. And that's just because you would have to go and be there more often for showings and things like that. Just doesn't make sense as much, or like, why do you kind of have different requirements depending on the size of the property per se?
Because farm and ranch clients tend to cover a large geographic area. So it's completely okay to have a listing out in the middle of nowhere, because you're going to attract those sort of buyers that are looking over the entire state. Whereas if you want to sell a property in San Antonio, I'm not part of San Antonio's multiple listing service. I'm not. You got to pay extra fees for that. You got to have competency for that. And there's so many ready for this? There's so many microscopic nuances when running a market analysis, neighborhood by neighborhood. And I don't have the wherewithal to do that city by city. That's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work.
For sure. And I guess for people who are looking for a home, right? I mean, there are many people every day that are looking to buy a home, especially with the interest rates kind of being, what they are, right? That people just don't know kind of what to look for. There's so many realtors out there, and people work with sometimes like the wrong realtor. And, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see people making when they're working with realtors?
What are the biggest mistakes? They're not focusing on the track record. Boom. Now, granted, you could be best friends with a realtor. They just get their license. The realtor just gets their license. And you want to work with them because they're your best friend. Well, how many hours a week does your best friend actually work in real estate? Do they have a mentor? What is their brokerage like? What kind of trainings do they have access to, right? There's so many different nuances to this that you've got to really do your homework, as far as like, if you pick a seasoned agent, that's also not a good thing. Oh, I've been in the business for 20 years. Well, that doesn't matter, because you could sell 5 houses a year, right? In order to reach top 1%, you've got to sell over 52 a year. You know what I'm saying? So time in the business really doesn't matter. It's how many transactions have you done? If you haven't done that many transactions, how are you educating yourself, and what environment are you in?
For sure. Yeah. I do agree. It's like for me, like when I was buying my homes in Fort Worth and I was looking for realtors, like some of the older ones, or people who have been in the business for like a very long time, 20, 30 years, are not super responsive, because just to your point, they've been in the business for so long. It's not a huge priority for them. And it's kind of harder from a client side to work with somebody who's not really responding to your messages.
Yeah. Complacency is a thing, for sure.
Yeah. And then in terms of interest rates, right, because it's always kind of like a hot topic. As I said earlier, like it's been kind of stagnant for a while. It hasn't changed much. For people that are kind of sitting around waiting for it to potentially go down, where it may or may not, like what do you say it's like of those people in terms of, okay, like, they want to buy a house. They're just sitting and waiting. What do you kind of recommend?
Interest rates, yeah. you marry the home and you date the rate. Okay. Because if they in fact do go down, right, you can always refinance, number one. Number two, if they do go down, guess what? There's going to be more demand out there. More demand means lower supply, which means you don't have as many options. And then when you don't have as many options to choose from, there's another negative. It drives the prices up too, truly. So while the one negative now is the higher interest rate, there's two negatives right behind it.
Right, for sure. Yeah. It's never like a binary thing. It's never like a perfect thing, right? Because to your point, during COVID, prices were astronomical. Rates were down, but the prices were much higher. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword in a sense.
Yeah. It's never timing the market unless you're trading pips on the foreign exchange market. It's time in the market that matters the most. Look, if I had the ideal client, I'd tell them, buy a property, live in it, then rent it. Buy another property, live in it, then rent it. Stack your portfolio and never sell a real estate asset until you absolutely have to.
Exactly, yeah, and that's what I've done. Like in Fort Worth, where I live in my properties now, and now I rent them. It's definitely a good option because, yeah, I mean, just to your point, people are always looking to rent homes, and especially like in a place like Austin, even Texas in general, there's so much demand. So I guess in terms of demand, like, are you still seeing an increase in demand? Like, obviously COVID was crazy, but are you still seeing like an influx of people moving here and looking for homes, or what are you kind of seeing like in the market today compared to even 5 years ago?
Yeah. So a couple months ago, we had those fires in California that caused a spike in our furnished luxury rentals. Homes, though, we saw a quick pop in home sales early January. And believe it or not, man, it's almost like the market is going down since then, when traditionally it slowed. Up, January, February, March, and then April, May, June supposed to be prime time US. It is, in theory. We're not seeing that right now here in Austin. April, May, June, we're at what? Coming up on
April 17th.
Yeah. Third portion of April here. And it's crickets, man. Straight up crickets.
Is there like a certain reason you think, or is it just, I mean, if people sort of found their homes, there's not as much movement here to Austin? Like, what are your thoughts behind that in terms of like why it's slower so far in April compared to in previous years?
Oh yeah, I was having this conversation yesterday. One of the things is market sentiment. That's actually the biggest thing. How many news articles have I read in the past 30 days from different platforms saying save your money,
right,
check your cash, right? So there's that. Then we have the tariff issue in our government that's not signed and sealed yet, which leaves a lot of uncertainty with business owners. Well, business owners are also home buyers, right? If you're uncertain of what your expenses are going to be over the next couple of months, are you going to go buy a house right now? No, you're not.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there is like a lot of uncertainty. I think, yeah, I mean, tariffs, also layoffs. I mean, and some people who are working for government jobs, things like that. And people, it's just there's like so much uncertainty. People aren't sure. Just to your point, Greg, like, if they're going to have a job or not. And from that perspective, they don't know if like, okay, I might lose my job. Does it really like make sense to go and buy a new home right now?
Exactly.
My
man.
So in terms of homes, right, because, obviously people are always looking for good deals. Are there certain areas where you're seeing, you could say better deals here in Austin as opposed to like I said, like I'm here on South Lamar, probably cheapest house is like $1 million. People who are looking for homes, even like 500,000 or less, like where are you kind of seeing some of that?
Dude, I just charged my car off South Lamar this morning, by the way. I was probably past your house.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So as far as deals go, I just closed a property a couple, maybe 5-6 weeks ago. First time home buyer, brand new house, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1 car garage, not a 2-car. That's okay. It cost him $225,000. Kyle.
Oh, wow.
15 minutes from the closest HEB. What more do you need?
Right.
Close to 35, close to Route 130 if you're trying to get north and south real fast, right? And because he went with the new construction lender, these new construction lenders, everybody, they are throwing everything in the kitchen sink at these buyers to get them incentivized, such as closing costs, free washer, dryer, refrigerator, blinds, whatever it is. So this dude, my client, I'm so proud of him. He paid like $1,200 at closing for a brand new house.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Kyle for sure is a great deal. It's a great area. I mean, and like you're not too far from the city, and you can also get to San Antonio like a bit faster as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Kyle's cool. Also, I would also keep an eye out on Liberty Hill, because Liberty Hill has some serious economic indicators. It's getting a Costco now. It's getting a Target. It's on the outskirts. Okay. Beautiful country. It's really nice to drive around, really easy, laid back town. It's on the up and up. Keep your eye out. Low barrier of entry, low price points. Get yourself the cheapest new construction house in Leander right now. You're going to be very happy with that investment over the next 10 years.
For sure.
In my opinion.
And I guess in terms of your business, right? Like obviously, like as you said, right now we're in Q2 here in 2025. So what are some of your biggest goals and objectives for the rest of this year?
Yeah. So my personal goal is to help 55 families either buy or sell. And that's it. I like to keep it simple. We don't need to overcomplicate things, right? I want to help 55. That's it. How many weeks we got? 52? Yes, a little over one a week.
Yeah. That's a great goal. So I guess in terms of your business, right? So if you could go back in time to 2017, even 2016, before you got started, what is the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew?
Ooh, it has to revolve around the concept of simplicity. I just brought this up a second ago. So there's so many shiny objects in real estate. It's asking yourself what you actually need, must have to run your business. Stick to doing that and do it over and over and over again. If you're not liking that thing, whatever that is, learn to like it. Figure out ways to like it. Then eventually it's going to start to work. It's going to work.
That's awesome.
It's the compound effect, bro. You're pounding the stone. 99 chips on the 100th chip, you finally break the stone, dude. Time over task over time.
That's great advice. And if somebody watching this wanted to work with you, do you mind sharing your website or social media? I guess best ways to get in contact.
Yeah, carlsongroup.atx.kw.com, or follow me on Instagram at Greg Carlson, or our Elite Residential Group is our real estate Instagram page. Definitely check us out. Check out our stuff, our homes for sale, our marketing. Yeah, it'd be great to meet anybody that's listening in today.
Greg, thanks so much for your time today.
Oh, man. No, thank you, Dan. Thank you, my man. Stay
for sure.
fired up.
Sounds good.